Curate's Egg, Ashraf Ali Thanvi, Part 22, Author's Conclusion. To wrap up this series, I would like to go through a combination of what the author concludes himself, Ali Altaf Mian, and in addition to what the author of the thesis states, I want to give a few comments of my own. Suffice to say, the author himself says that he has been critical and he has shown compassion. And what I have done is I have drawn out generally the negative aspects of Ashraf Ali Thanvi's life, and there are many. At the same time, we cannot deny that the Tablighi cult stroke sect stroke maslak does have beneficial characteristics, and I say this at the conclusion of my other series, The House Divided. If a person is chemically addicted to a drug or has some other form of mental, spiritual problem, there would be no issue whatsoever with them going with the TJ in order to remove themselves from potentially toxic, unhealthy, miasmatic environments. So there is benefit in these groups. At the same time, this group is going a crisis of authenticity, and also in its divisions within the UK and within its religious centres in Bangladesh, Pakistan and India, and the violent clashes displayed in those countries as well as in the West suggest the movement is under crisis. I have listened to dozens of Deobandi scholars in multiple languages. I have read every single book about them in an academic sphere, and I come to the conclusion that this is a cult, and this cult, notwithstanding its positive characteristics, also has very many negative elements, and it has no place in modern society and culture. So this is what Mian says. In British India, Muslim traditionalism lived through colonial modernity in multiple configurations, from elite modernism to shrine-based devotionalism to ultra-scriptural conservatism. This dissertation did not study these three configurations, but concentrated on a fourth iteration of the Muslim tradition, namely orthodoxy. Then he says, the community of seminary-educated scholars who actively debated the content of doctrine and ritual by recourse to traditional authority, taqlid, and prophetic normativity, sunnah. By analysing the prolific literary production of a single orthodox theologian and mystic of British India, namely Ashraf Ali Thanvi, this dissertation contributed to the burdening literature on Muslim traditionalism in colonial modernity. That's the beginning salvo of his conclusion. He also says later on, actually this is from the abstract, Thanvi's hundreds of published treatises, sermons, continued consultation within South Asian Islam and widespread Sufi fellowship make him one of the most compelling case studies for analysing some of the key thematic concerns of Muslim orthodoxy, such as religious knowledge, self-discipline, sublimation of desire, regulation of gender, and communal politics. My analyses demonstrate how orthodox scholars proliferated their theological, legal, and mystical teachings in order to make tradition relevant and authoritative in public and private lives of many South Asian Muslims. So this is a South Asian Muslim phenomenon, and I totally agree with that. The TJ, the Deobandis, outside of South Asia, they have no real attraction. You do not find large movements of Arabs, North Arabs, people in the Far East, Indonesia, Malaysia, people in the Arab world, people in North Africa, Egypt, Tunisia, Libya, Algiers, Mauritania, people in the east of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, people in Somalia. You do not find the vast majority of the Muslim world adhering to this form of thought because it's thought appropriate for backwater pre-industrial India. So it's very much a South Asian phenomenon, and it needs to be exposed for the cult that it is. He says, my discussion of Thanvi's ingenuity in industry, his teaching on discipline and domesticity, among other themes, has shown how Muslim orthodoxy happened at the everyday, ordinary level, where ideas and ideals encountered embodiment, scenes that were at once ephemeral and everlasting. I have argued that at the heart of Muslim orthodoxy in colonial India were the concepts of practices of religious knowledge, self-discipline, sublimation of desire, traditional gender norms, loyalty to legalism, and communal identity. My analyses of Thanvi the person and the archive were marked by both critique and compassion. So that's all I want to say from the author in the form of his conclusion. They are my analyses, and stay tuned where I will deconstruct the main core source text of the Deobandis, which is the Faza'il-i-A'mal, in my upcoming series, which will be entitled White Elephant. Stay tuned.